the patents thing, is all the claims about our intellectual property. There is no such thing as intellectual property. What there is copyrights, trademarks, patents, but there's no intellectual property. So they can make all these claims, or such and such a company is infringing our intellectual property. And the company in question can do nothing to countersue because the word doesn't exist in law. It's if they say the company is infringing our patents and they're not, then they can countersue for false claims, for defamation or whatever. There's a legal recourse there. But using the term intellectual property doesn't actually exist. So it lets them attack without any risk.
Well, moving back over to Roy, have you got any more links on this relevant?
Well, a lot of news about patents now in Europe. I happen to be in very constant touch with people who work around here to eradicate software patents. You probably say, well, there are no software patents in Europe. Well, it's kind of a complicated issue because there is always this phrasing from the European Patent Office. They use words such as, phrases like as such, or they say things like you have to use a device or you have to use an apparatus of some sort. And you always have ways of trying to sneak in software patents and make them look like they aren't software patents. And then you have the cases in Germany with the file allocation tables. And you have Siemens using a software patent successfully in one of the highest courts in Germany. And they try to set the system so that while the law might say it's not lawful to patent software, in principle, in practice, you do have these patents and they aren't labeled as such. But you can still acquire a software patent, and in the UK you had Symbian using it was Symbian. Now we can say it's kind of Nokia because Nokia owns the whole Symbian, and they had these patents related to DLLs in software, and they could claim, well, we can own the so-called intellectual property for this thing, and then they sued a company and they won, which basically means that they had created a case in the UK where you can use software patents to sue a company successfully. So that's kind of, especially in the UK and in Germany, you have these cases of precedents where you can have software patents used offensively. And we try to ensure that's removed from the table. And one of the things we do now is we try to campaign against and to expose people who try to campaign in favor of the, what's called, harmonization or community patents or EU patent, which is a way of trying to expand the law and make it a bit more universal across the European nations and then perhaps the United States, which means that they can bring over the software patents and try to unify the European Patent Office and the US Patent Office to make it easier to also then litigate a company in the United States and Europe at the same time. Which means that there is no safe haven. If a company sells you a phone in Europe and the phone is being sued somewhere in Texas, where usually the patent trolls tend to come because it's a more convenient place to sue its success and to extort money, it will affect the European players as well, the shops. And Microsoft waits, as far as we can tell, and we have these analyses about this, they wait until software patents are basically legalized just about anywhere in the world before they make a big lawsuit against Linux and try to basically present some patents to say, well, you have to pay us for this and that. Right now, if they try and do that, they mostly have grounds in Japan and the United States, because these are the two main countries that properly accept software patents. It's just very few countries. And we've just defeated one attempt to legalize software patents by waving all kinds of people in Europe that campaigned against politicians who were trying to pass the unifications of laws and this system which allows you to sue companies in all kinds of nations all in one fell swoop. And it's concerning because they've been doing it. I've been personally very actively involved since 2007, and all the time they keep putting a new name or a label for the same bundle of laws, a bit like the ACTA or a bit like the MCA. They just try to find new ways of putting this into law, and some of this is kind of unconstitutional, and some of it is very deceitful. They use all sorts of names like community patent, which makes it sound like it's about the community, but it's not about the community. It's about multinational corporations imposing their will on small businesses. So we have.
No,
Sorry,
go. There you go. No, I was going to take it off in a slightly different direction there, so yeah, just right.
Sorry.
Right, okay. Right, okay. Right. What I was going to say was, for me, the actual ethics of the patent system, the way it's being used, there's fundamental flaws here in the way that people use patents. Well, companies, patent trolls, and companies use patents. First is that they keep saying it's a unique. They patent something that's something special, something innovative. And usually that's, as Roy says, tagged on with on a device, or on the network, or on the internet, or, be prepared for the whole new thing where everything's repatented as in space, So the thing is, nothing ever happens like that. Every single thing that mankind has ever created has always been an evolution of something else. They've looked at ideas that already exist, and they've put a little bit of a spin on it. They've put, and saying, I wonder if you could apply that to that, or mix this idea with that idea, when it creates something. It's not innovative, it's not new. Well, it is new, but it's not a completely unique sort of flash out of the ether that says this is a genius idea that created itself from nothing. Everything is an evolution of something else. It's a morphing of ideas that are already out there.
Usually a combination of two things or more. Combination of
ideas. Exactly. So that's the first thing. Anyone that says it's a unique idea, that 99% of the time, that's rubbish. It's not unique. It was never going to be unique. And the second thing is, all patents are supposed to, in theory, patents in general, not just software patents, are supposed to reward the inventor. So if the inventor spends 10 years and his entire life, his entire investment, his entire money into creating an invention, then they have a temporary block in the market, a temporary monopoly in the market to then recoup that, be the only seller of that, before it becomes available for others to compete on. And that is a complete mockery when companies buy up patents for things they didn't invent. They either buy out the company or buy out the individual who did invent them. Patents that already exist that haven't been patented for whatever reason, and then say, we'll patent that, and then sue the original people. Sorry, that's it, go on.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan, if you wanted to add anything, I was just going to throw a topic in which I hope, Roy, you're going to...
the notion of trying to call it intellectual property is part of the issue, because then you treat it like a sort of a bundle of... you basically treat ideas like they are something you can pass from a person to person. When you think of that, it's supposed to be a person's idea and some kind of a privilege to a person. When trolls can buy patents of things they have nothing to do with, then they trade imaginary things, and they use these imaginary things to impose their wills and to basically impede the market. So, and one of the things you have here is also, like you said, people having patents on very fundamental things like the progress bar and tab browsing and page down. These are patents of Microsoft, the last two. And the notion of having these patents is just like the digital equivalents of an analog thing that has existed for a long time. It's just more of a metaphor, and how it doesn't matter how you implement these things so much, because you don't actually copyright these things. You don't copyright your implementation.